That is the official title of the movie, is Thunderbolts with a asterisk. And we won't talk any more about that till after the movie comes out.
Everyone here has done bad things. Shadow ops, robbing government labs.
Yeah, so?
So, someone wants us gone.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. A potato-quality Thunderbolts trailer is out, so we finally have our first full look at the Sentry in the MCU, along with how they'll explain his suit. The full starting Thunderbolts roster, Winter Soldier, Val, what's going on with the Avengers Tower. I talked about this in a previous video. It looks like Val is the person who bought the Avengers Tower from Iron Man way back. We basically see the team confronting her at the top of that Avengers Tower at the end of the trailer, confirming that just because there's some familiar landmarks outside the windows of this old Avengers Tower turned into the new Avengers Tower. I know there's a ton of questions about what's going to happen to the characters after the movie, because are they going to do sequels to this, or is this going to be a one-off movie? The Sentry is so crazy OP, what is Marvel going to do with him going forward? So we'll break it all down. My voice is actually starting to heal a little bit too, so that's why the last couple of videos sound a little bit different. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's still like a whole pile of D23 trailers that were released that I haven't done videos for yet. Probably one of the biggest reveals from this I wasn't thinking about before the trailer made its way out was how they would explain the Sentry just in general, just because he has such crazy powers. During the trailer, Yelena Belova talks to the other characters about how each of them have been working as contract killers, going on different covert missions for Val, pulling hits on different secret labs. It sounds like Val had them steal all the tech and the science that she needed to create the Sentry. And once they finish their job, once she actually succeeds in creating Sentry to clean up her mess, she sets a trap for all of them, hoping that they'll kill each other in the lab where she created the Sentry, like that's what this place is. Or even better, as a test run, this new Sentry, Robert Reynolds, will use his new power to destroy them, so that no one will find out everything that she's done. I think Val is just hoping that the mess will clean itself up.
Oh, no.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
If you didn't remember the actor from Top Gun Maverick, this is Lewis Pullman playing the Sentry. He's playing another version of Bob, this time with way more power. Love the way he kind of stumbles out into the middle of the fight here while they're all busy trying to kill each other. Like, oh, hey, what's up? Val sent someone to rescue me. What's going on? Like, they all come here thinking they're on an extraction mission, but really they're supposed to be killing each other, according to Val. You can kind of tell, just like comic book Robert Reynolds, he has no idea what's going on at first, like he has no idea about his powers, and generally seems like his mind is a little broken by this whole process. Later in the trailer, we actually see the Sentry symbol from his costume. This is another big reveal. The symbol makes it look like the suit will be nanotech and will just come out of the symbol itself. Like he puts the symbol on and the suit forms out of it. Kind of the same way Iron Man's later suits were nanotech forming out of his arc reactors. That's also probably a sly wink at Val stealing ideas from other Marvel characters, better Marvel characters. Because one of my other big theories here, just based on all this trailer footage, is that Val is going to turn the former Avengers Tower into the new Avengers Tower as part of the government-sponsored Thunderbolt Ross Avengers. And it'll be more like an adaptation of Dark Avengers.
Help me rebuild the Avengers.
The Avengers.
Yes, sir.
Rebranded.
I just did a trailer for that Captain America Brave New World Comic-Con trailer video. Like, we got a brand new look at Red Hulk, but also during that trailer, Thunderbolt Ross literally tells Sam Wilson that he wants him to rebuild the Avengers with him, like Thunderbolt Ross plans to rebuild the Avengers, and he wants Sam Wilson's help. Meaning that it's a very government-sponsored, like government-controlled version of the Avengers, which just screams Dark Avengers from the comics. Sentry was also on that version of the Dark Avengers. This entire Thunderbolts trailer seems like an inversion, like an anti-version of the original Avengers movie, like a lot of the scenes are aping scenes from the original Avengers film, like Loki's scepter here inside this government building, the Avengers Tower just in general. This whole scene where they're all fighting each other is a callback to the Avengers fighting each other during that first Avengers movie before they all realize they're on the same side and chill out and start working together. The Thunderbolts trailer is hitting a lot of the same beats as that original Avengers trailer. That's kind of the idea. Like, they want you to be thinking about the original Avengers, but it's a very quote-unquote dark spin on that. We've been talking about Val like she's a very evil version of Nick Fury, putting together her evil version of the Avengers team.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Look at you.
So adorable.
But at the start of the footage, we see Yelena Belova going to the apartment where Red Guardian is living just to see him after the events of the Hawkeye series. So a little bit of time has gone by since Hawkeye. Most of the Marvel movies tend to move in real time, so it's probably been a couple years since the events of Hawkeye. And since then, she's implied to have continued pulling jobs for Val, like the way that we saw her working for Val in the Black Widow post-credit scene. Like, that's just continued. That was the whole reason why she showed up in Hawkeye, because Val basically gave her the hit on Hawkeye himself. There are a couple funny moments where Red Guardian thinks that she's just the DoorDash guy. Just leave the food on the porch. I'll report you to DoorDash HQ. Inside his apartment, it looks like the worst disaster site ever, like his life is a complete mess. Generally, that's meant to be the vibe of all the different Thunderbolts characters too, like all their lives are hitting a super low point. There's a funny montage with him running around trying to pick things up, clean himself up, like brush his teeth. In the background, they start playing the Pixies song, Where Is My Mind, which also famously comes from the Fight Club movie. People remember that movie because Edward Norton also in the Incredible Hulk movie as a version of the Hulk, but also the whole twist with the split personality because in the Thunderbolts movie we have Sentry, who also has the Void personality. I think the idea with the Void personality is they're visualizing that in a slightly different way, so it won't be just like another evil person, like a Fight Club type of person. The way people who have seen that part of the movie are talking about it are calling it more of a Jujutsu Kaisen domain expansion kind of twist on the Void, as opposed to the comics where the Void is sort of like this other entity that exists separately from other people. She asks him, do you feel fulfilled? Because also she, like the whole reason why she's here is because she does not feel fulfilled, like her life has no purpose, no meaning. She's just been going around killing people, that's been her whole life, the mission has been her whole life. Then for the Marvel Studios title, they do another inversion on the traditional Marvel titles, like it's just a straight black and white title. I think meant to show you more of a dark Avengers kind of vibe. Love the way they reveal the title too, with putting the title, like motion graphic style, on the door as it rises up in this base that she infiltrates. Here's the thing, this is all part of the longer sequence where she winds up inside the lab where Val created the Sentry underground, but I think this is meant to be in the Nevada desert, just like the comics. In one of the more recent Sentry Avengers runs, they actually find him in the Nevada desert. A little while ago, Julia Louis-Dreyfus posted this funny behind-the-scenes video for the Thunderbolts movie while they were filming, and she was in what looked like the Nevada desert while they were filming.
Tell you a little bit, which is on this particular movie, Marvel really, well, they couldn't afford green screen. So what happened was they flew us all to Mars. Look at this. Check it out. Yeah. That's Mars. Can you believe what I'm saying?
We finally see what her full new look is going to be, but this is one of a couple looks that she has in the trailer. Notice how she's starting to look way more similar to Natasha's Black Widow. She starts talking to Red Guardian about this emptiness inside her as we see Bucky walking through Congress in the middle of a trial here. Not clear what's going on during this trial or this hearing that's happening at Congress. I think it's a hearing, technically. There are a lot of people that think that during this movie he might be a congressman, or maybe he's just testifying as part of something that's happening here. Also notice that he's rocking the long hair again like he had during the Winter Soldier movie. We see U.S. Agent at his house with his child reading an article about the quote-unquote fall of a hero, which is an article written about him, about his downfall. Basically the events of the Falcon and Winter Soldier series where he was disgraced. This scene is her pulling another Black Widow-style hallway fight scene, but notice that she's wearing a different outfit, so I think it's from a completely different part of the movie. Then she's back at that base that I think is in the Nevada desert that we saw earlier during the title reveal with that same suit. You can kind of tell where the footage is happening based on what her hairstyle is like Yelena Belova hair watch. It kind of looks like Val designed this as an underground fortress, more designed to keep Sentry in rather than keep people out, for obvious reasons, because he's so crazy powerful. Earlier this year, Florence Pugh released a funny teaser video when they had started filming the Thunderbolts movie, and she was about to film a scene that we saw on the monitors. This is that scene with her entering that special base. But here we see that she's actually entering what seems like this deep underground protected lab where Val created the Sentry. The way that she talks about it to the other Thunderbolts characters that she finds here is that she was sent on a quote-unquote extraction mission, but Val didn't tell her that she also sent a bunch of other people here that had been working for her on the same mission. So they all show up here thinking that they're all different enemies trying to stop each other, which is what Val is hoping, like this is the trap that she set for them, hoping that they'd all kill each other off. All this laboratory equipment is meant to give you all kinds of weapons plus vibes. Sentry in the comics was created from something called the Golden Sentry Serum, which was an offshoot of the original Super Soldier Serum, basically the Weapons Plus program. There have been a lot of theories for a long time since they introduced the Val character that she sort of take over the Weapons Plus program because of the ascension of Thunderbolt Ross to the office of president.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Adamantium.
Also, the idea that they're introducing adamantium to the MCU during Captain America Brave New World, so there's just a path to Weapon X, which is just more Weapons Plus stuff. Then she starts to encounter the other Thunderbolts characters, so she sees US Agent who tries to kill her because they don't know who each other are. Like, all the Thunderbolts characters don't know each other. They haven't become the Thunderbolts yet, like they're just a bunch of random contract killers that Val has been working with separately. This is actually a pretty badass fight scene where they're all trying to kill each other at the same time. Notice that US Agent is also wielding his own version of a shield. We actually saw him make a janky one during Falcon and Winter Soldier. Then there was a little bit of controversy online reacting to this. This is actually what Taskmaster is going to look like during the movie. The mask is meant to be based on the more recent Taskmaster mask. There was a lot of debate about why it didn't look more comic book accurate. Like, it looks better than the original Taskmaster suit, but still isn't quite there. Like, I'm hoping that it looked a little bit more comic book accurate. There's been a lot of speculation, I don't know if this is true, but a lot of speculation that the reason why it doesn't look like the classic skull formation is because there's rules about that in China. I don't know if that is the case. Like, they want the movie to be released in China, so for some reason, the Taskmaster mask is a problem for that. Then we finally see Ghost come back, and this is her new suit. You can see her phase in and out throughout this fight here. She phases through US Agent into Ghost. She also phases Yelena Belova's knife, then attacks them with it. US Agent then grabs the knife and tries to kill Yelena Belova with it. Notice this is all meant to be spins on the original Avengers fight where they were all going after each other after they'd first captured Loki. Just as Robert Reynolds, aka the Sentry, stumbles out like he's the person that they were supposedly supposed to extract. Notice when he says Bob, he puts his hands up when they pull the gun on him because he doesn't really understand his powers. Like, he doesn't know that he could basically walk through them like tissue paper. One of the other best comparisons that I've been making is to the Homelander character because of the way that Homelander was created using the Compound V serum. The only difference is that Homelander's mind is broken in a slightly different kind of way, like he's bent in a slightly different way than the Sentry is. One of the key differences with the Sentry is that the normal Robert Reynolds persona is a good person, like he wants to be a superhero. It's just that his mind is so fractured, he has to worry about the Sentry. The Sentry is the evil part of him that does all the terrible things. Homelander is a little bit different in that he's not quite like that. His conscious mind is the bad one that wants to do all these terrible things, which we will basically see during The Boys Season 5. Then we see Val locking the facility down, and it seems like she's initiated a self-destruct mechanism because the clock starts counting down. I think part of the idea here is that she's hoping that this mess will clean itself up, like she's trying to tidy things up behind her. Also because the Sentry will not be harmed by this base blowing up, like he'll just crawl his way out of the debris. We get that same voiceover from Yelena Belova as Val's other team tries to infiltrate and then also kill. Like, Val also sent another team to kill them because they haven't already killed each other. They start bonding over all the terrible things that they've been doing. Like, we've all been doing very shady stuff. And it's basically them piecing things together that Val has set a trap for them and wants them all dead. We get more footage of all the terrible things that they've been doing, like the government labs that they've been hitting. Then we see them having a party inside the US government, like just a random building with Loki's scepter on display. Like I said, more inversions, more references to that original Avengers movie. Notice that Bucky is clocking Val from the other side of the room. This person next to her is her assistant. I think this is meant to be Songbird inside the MCU. Then we get that voiceover from Val talking to the other Thunderbolts characters. We're brought up with this belief that there are bad guys and good guys, but eventually we realize that there are bad guys and worse guys. So the idea is that she's trying to justify all of her terrible, shady actions, saying that even though she's bad, there's other worse things out there that she's trying to stop, and that's why she's doing all this crazy stuff. There's a quick montage from a bunch of different parts of the movie of them all pulling their different jobs. Notice this scene of the Sentry being attacked by all these government agents here who have no idea who he is, and there's a bunch of bullet holes in his shirt. Notice there's no blood. That's because he's the Sentry. He's immune to all those bullets. Like, that's how strong he is. Pretty easy to say RIP to all these government agents here that are trying to stop him. Kind of looks like he's about to waste them. We see Bucky pulling his vibranium arm out of the dishwasher. Gotta clean it somehow, I guess. Don't worry, that thing's not gonna rust the same way that other stuff rusts. Not sure where he is when he says, "What's the plan?" But notice on his left is US Agent, so he's with the Thunderbolts team at this point. It seems like he doesn't start with them, but he eventually does wind up helping the team. These are more scenes of Yelena Belova attacking those government labs, stealing tech for Val so she can create the Sentry. In the trailer, it says, "Be careful who you assemble," which is meant to be another spin on the original Avengers, as in Avengers Assemble. Then this scene of Red Guardian where he yells, "Enough talking," is actually inside that new Avengers tower that Val has purchased. Just because outside the window, this actually looks just like the view from the original Avengers tower. So this scene also with Bucky in it is probably from the very end of the movie where they go to that Avengers tower, like after they've come together as an actual team. I'm not sure where Yelena Belova is jumping off the top of this building, but there were rumors that she was actually going to jump off the Burj Khalifa. There might be some other building that she does skydive off of though. We see the new Sentry symbol. I've already talked a little bit about that and how it's probably going to be nanotech. This footage of them fighting in the streets seems like them fighting their way into that new Dark Avengers tower, like Val's Avengers tower. And them getting off the elevator together is meant to be a spin on the Avengers getting on the elevator, like the Hulk hates stairs scene. So this is them all coming to the top of that new Avengers tower to confront Val, like, "What have you done?" And this just seems like her trying to talk her way out of them all killing her. Then explain the asterisk with the title reveal here. So a lot of people are like, what does this asterisk mean? Is it part of a form? Like, is this going to change the team name into like Dark Avengers at the end of the movie? That's totally possible, but Kevin Feige at Comic-Con actually explained that the asterisk was meant to be 6 bullet holes formed by the 6 different members of the Thunderbolts team. Like it's all 6 of them firing the gunshot at the same place here. Then we get that funny post-credit scene, like the actual trailer has a post-credit scene itself, with Red Guardian driving a limousine across the Nevada desert, which is why I think this is after they find the Sentry in that Nevada desert. Joking about how this group has the makings of a team that could be great enough to be heroes and be on a Wheaties box. Just because way back in the day, if you don't remember, like being on the Wheaties box was like a really big deal for sports stars and just people in general. So most of Red Guardian's references are old-timey. Like I said though, I don't know what the future of this team is going to be like. Will they actually do Dark Avengers in the future of the Avengers movies? Because we have Avengers 5 Doomsday coming really soon, and that's mostly going to be about the new Robert Downey Jr. version of Doctor Doom. Right after that, we have Avengers Secret Wars and then a big Marvel soft reboot. We also have them forming a legit new Avengers team with Sam Wilson's Captain America, like a totally different Avengers team. So generally, there's just a lot of chaos that Marvel has to clean up behind the scenes right now. I'm not expecting a whole lot long-term from the actual Thunderbolts team. I think that just some of the characters will continue, like all the strongest characters will continue on to future movies. So let me know in the comments, where do you want these characters to show up? Like, it would be cool to see Sentry versus Hulk in a movie. Like, we've already been talking about Hulk versus Wolverine in the movies just because Hugh Jackman has been doubling down on it. Like, I would love to do more Hulk versus Wolverine. But it does seem like Marvel's trying to wrap up a lot of stuff with Secret Wars in the next several years. So if we get really, really crazy stuff, really Secret Wars is like the place to put some of the craziest stuff. There's a bunch of really big stuff coming up. I've already finished a bunch of the D23 trailers. I'm trying to work through as many as possible. So click here for that new Daredevil Born Again trailer video, and click here for the new Mandalorian and Grogu trailer video. So I'll try to keep posting those trailers as I finish them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.